It was a glorious weekend to be in Green Bay. My wife and I went up early, toured a brewery, then got up early the next morning to tailgate with other fans before heading into Lambeau to watch the Packers defense crush the Vikings. We'll recap that win and look ahead to Turkey Day and the Packers as they have a very short week before a tough rival. All this and more coming up next on your Packers Fan Podcast.
And I'm David Newman, not Wayne Henderson, and I'm glad you got to see a really nice Packers victory against the Vikings, a nice crushing. I have also been to a crushing of the Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau Field back in 2011, where they won 45-7.
Nice. And I'm Scott Clark from the Gaming Outsider. It is a great pleasure to welcome David Newman to the Packers Fan Podcast. It's not the first time he's been here. He's done some work with me over on the Gaming Outsider as well. It's always great chatting with you, dude. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and on this 333rd episode of the Packers Fan Podcast, we're going to recap all the highs and lows from the Packers win over the Vikings, although I think David shook things up a little bit in terms of how we're going to recap that game. But I'm looking forward to it. We're also going to share your listener feedback, so look forward to that.
And Thanksgiving is just days away. Lots of turkey, lots of stuffing, lots of mashed potatoes, and lots of naps. But you got to do it after Packers game, and we'll preview that game here where they play the Lions. And later, I'll also share my keys to the Packers victory for that game.
Yes, I handed the keys over to David. He's going to be doing that for us this week as our special guest. It's going to be great. So before we get into the recap here, David, any fun Thanksgiving traditions you guys do in regards to football?
Nothing in particular, to be honest with you. Thanksgiving has been a little off lately for my family, as either I've had to work or my wife has had to work. So traditions are kind of going by the wayside for a little while, but hopefully soon we'll be back to getting those traditions. It's always just fun to watch the Lions lose on Thanksgiving, though.
Well, the Lions have started to be good again in the past few seasons, so it's a little bit weird. But hopefully they lose this week. As for me, we always have Thanksgiving at my wife's parents' house, which is great. Love it, having the food and the time together with everybody. But the problem is that we've got one portion of the family that does not give a crap about football, which makes things difficult because I want to watch the game, even if it's not the Packers. I want to watch the game. It's Thanksgiving. It's part of Thanksgiving, right? Is watching the Lions, watching the Cowboys, all that good stuff. And it's frustrating. So this year, my wife has informed me that since the Packers are playing and it's important for the rest of the family to watch this game because we're all Packers fans, we've got to go to the we're gonna have dinner like very, very early, like around like 11 o'clock or something, eat, and then we're gonna make it to the basement and watch the game, while those that don't want to watch the game are going to stay up and hang out. So we're splitting up the family, which is a little weird, but I'm sorry, guys.
Packers are way more important than sitting there and just talking. Okay.
Yes. Sorry. It's going to happen, but that's going to be our Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to not having any responsibility for a few days. It's been a crazy start to the school year. Crazy stuff happening with the Gaming Outsider and R2V2, and I'm just looking to decompress a little bit. But let's go ahead and talk about this game at Lambeau Field. Yes, I was in attendance with my wife. We had a fantastic time. Ran into Dan Dyler, also known as Captain Pack Sparrow. He was all did up as usual. He actually had his cheesehead hat, but he put like 2 turkey legs on the top of it, so it was a little bit Thanksgiving themed. Hung out with some awesome people in his tailgating spot. We actually went to the exact same spot we tailgated at last season because we liked it so much, and it turns out that the people next to us had the same idea. They apparently reserve those spots every home game, so we ran into the same people that we were at last year.
Nice.
Oh, and I got to tell you, are you a bourbon guy, David?
I have tried bourbon so many times. I want to like it. Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, I'm more of an Irish whiskey guy. However, one of the guys tailgating brought over this Japanese bourbon that was 70%, not 70 proof, 140 proof, 70% alcohol bourbon. That warmed me right up. Just one little shot, and I was nice and toasty.
Hey, I'll suffer through bourbon if it's going to do that to me.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So shout out to I believe his name was Jacob that shared that with us, and he was a big whiskey guy. So, but let's talk about the game itself. First off, we'll kick things off with the leaders of the game during that victory over the Vikings. Obviously, Jordan Love taking the snaps, had 14 out of 21 passes for 139 yards, no TDs, one sack. His passer rating was 85.2. On the rushing side, Emmanuel Wilson taking the spot for the injured Josh Jacobs. 28 carries, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Quite a showing. On the receiving end, Christian Watson, 5 catches on 7 targets, 49 yards. Also, shout out to Dontavian Wicks, who had 2 catches on 4 targets for 32 yards. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons with 2 sacks. Devontae Wyatt with 2 sacks. Isaiah McDuffie, 9 tackles, half a sack, 1 interception. Evan Williams, 4 tackles, 1 interception. Just as incredible showing by the defense this week. And then on special teams, Brandon McManus, 3 out of 3 field goals. His longest was for 40. And then he had 2 extra points that also were successful. And Zane Anderson also had a fumble recovery. So things were looking really good on the defensive side and the special team side of the ball. Let's go into the opening drives and highlights. First off, it looked like Aaron Jones was going to run all over us after 2 carries went for 16 yards and into Packers territory. Then JJ to JJ for a 15-yard pass, having us thinking we were going to be in for a long day, but Minnesota forgot to run the ball, and McCarthy throws 3 straight incompletions. Minnesota settles for a Reichard 52-yard field goal to make it 3-0. And I was like, man, that's a bummer. I always like to strike first, but it is what it is. Better than a touchdown. And then on the opening offensive side of the ball, Green Bay starts on their own 25 with a run for no gain. And here we are thinking, here we go again. But Matt LaFleur throws in a wrinkle, and they go no huddle on second down, and every second down this drive, and picks up 7 yards, setting up 3rd and 3, which Love finds Watson for a 12-yard gain near the 50-yard line. A couple plays later, Luke Musgrave, or as I refer to him as Timu Tucker Kraft, does what he does best and falls on the play, but uses it to his advantage to draw a 24-yard DPI to set up Green Bay just outside the red zone. Then Dontavian Wicks takes a couple defenders with him down to the 1-yard line, and Emmanuel Wilson punches it in for a 1-yard score. Green Bay is up 7-3 at this point.
Yeah, and over the next couple drives, nothing really major goes on. Green Bay stuffs Minnesota on 3rd and 4th and 1 to force a turnover on downs. And then on Green Bay's 3rd possession of the half, they run on 9 out of 14 plays, but is held to try a 32-yard field goal after an incompletion on 3rd and 5, which makes the score 10-3. Minnesota gets the ball back towards the end of the half with a little over 2 minutes to go. They get down to the Green Bay 40 with just under 2 minutes left, but a big sack by Warren Brinson, his first of his NFL career, nice. Along with Isaiah McDuffie, forces Minnesota into a 3rd and long, and they can't convert. And then I was feeling pretty jealous that Minnesota has a kicker who can hit multiple 50-plus yarders, as Reichard hits a 59-yarder to make it 10-6, and that ends the half. Green Bay up 10-6.
That also ends the scoring from Minnesota. That was it. 2 field goals the entire game. Pretty awesome. Then the second half started. Green Bay gets a nice start to their second half drive with a couple of plays over 10 yards, but just as they cross midfield, their 2 negative runs lead to a 3rd and 15 with an incomplete pass, forcing Green Bay to punt. Just when we thought all was lost, Green Bay's opponent is the one to make a special teams error, and the returner forgot to catch the ball, instead bouncing it off his back as Zane Anderson jumps on it at Minnesota's 5-yard line. I got to tell you, David, I was on the opposite end of the stadium when this happened, so I couldn't tell what was going on. All I could see was that, that side of the stadium was just erupting, and it sounded like it was good news, so we were cheering, and then we realized what it was. But
heck yeah.
2 plays later, Emmanuel Wilson punches it in from 1 yard out. Green Bay is up 17-6 at this point.
And this is where the defense said, all right, you gave us a 17-6 lead. We're going to ball out. Minnesota's next 2 possessions are for 6 plays, minus 10 yards, led by 2 sacks by Parsons, 1 on each drive, and 1 by Wyatt that was almost a safety. And then Romeo Doubs forgot to run up the field on the punt return. That would have got them into Minnesota territory, or at least further into Minnesota territory. But he only gains 5 yards. Green Bay plays conservative, running it 7 times, gaining 43 yards, and eventually kicking a field goal. Green Bay up 20-7.
I got to tell you too, those Guardian helmets, even from like way across the opposite end of the field, look huge.
Big head. It's NFL blitz big head mode.
Oh, seriously, it's kind of funny. And that you said almost safety that you talked about, that was right in front of us, and I was convinced it was a safety. I still I don't know. I don't have the luxury of replays you do.
He made it out. He made it out just barely.
Okay, it was close, and I felt like I was the only one that was like, was that a safety? Was that a safety? Everyone else was like, no, whatever, dude. So. Anyway, there was another field goal. The defense went another 3-and-out, capped by a big sack by Devontae Wyatt. Doubs returns the punt for 16 yards to the Minnesota 40. A couple of nice plays, but the drive stalls at the Minnesota 21. McManus knocks through his third field goal, a 40-yarder this time, and Green Bay is up 23-6 at this point.
Well, that might have ended the scoring for the game, but the defense still decided they're going to ball out on Minnesota's next drive. On the very first play, Rashawn Gary screams off the left sideline, knocking McCarthy's arms, forcing an errant throw right to McDuffie. I honestly think it should have been a strip sack and a fumble. I thought the ball was coming out of McCarthy's forehand, and his momentum just kind of pushed it forward. But the scorekeepers didn't see it that way. Green Bay didn't do anything offensively. They had to punt it back with Minnesota 5:46 left in the fourth quarter. Minnesota got a couple of nice plays. They got to their own 33 after being backed up to beyond their 10-yard line. But McCarthy gifts Evan Williams with Green Bay's second interception after he overthrows Jalen Naylor, and that was your dagger.
Absolutely. And, it kind of all went downhill from there, but still, we got to see Malik Willis ice the game for the team. He comes in for the final possession and is able to run out the clock, sealing the 23-6 win. The defense in the second half, though, 15 plays, -1 total yards, 4 sacks, and 2 interceptions in that second half. And also, just a massive highlight here, the Packers only had 2 accepted penalties. Is that just in the second half, David, or is that the whole game? The entire game.
4 penalties in total by both teams. Two penalties each. It was a very clean game. There's a reason that game got done by 2:40 Central Time.
I know, dude. I was like, we're in the fourth quarter because I kept checking the score to see the Lions game, the Lions game and the Bears game. And it's like third quarter, like the game's almost over. And I'm like, third quarter? What are you talking about? Like, what's going on? That's why. Penalties just slow things down. So I feel like the NFL is going to look at this game and be like, you know what? We need more penalties because we need more commercials. So we're going to stretch this out as long as possible. So yeah, expect more penalties. And now my conspiracy theory head is just thinking about that. That's why we have so many freaking penalties.
So the defense gave up -1 total yard. There was a 5-yard false start penalty. So the defense gave up 4 yards, which is unacceptable in the second half. Okay. So there's the first low light. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. But I think start off with kind of the low lights of the game. There's not really that much, I would think, but I think the biggest thing is as you could have probably saw with Jordan Love, he wasn't quite sharp this game. I know his maybe his completion percentage was a little bit better than last week's, but I think last week was mainly due to drops. They had 7 drops by Green Bay's receivers, 14 of 21, 139 yards. He just didn't quite look sharp. And I don't know if you saw this up there in the stand, Scott, but he was handing the ball off with his right hand every single time. He never put the ball in his left hand. Were you able to see that?
I did not notice that. But, we were in the second section, so we didn't have like the best of seats to see up close. But it was, and plus, there were many libations had in the parking lot, so things were a little fuzzy.
Do that to you.
Yeah. Also on the low lights, Keyshawn Nixon had a stinger, forcing him out for the rest of the game. I didn't see this up close, obviously, but you said Devontae Wyatt shouldered him.
Yeah, so essentially, Keyshawn Nixon went in for a tackle and kind of pushed the guy, and then ran into Devontae Wyatt, and if you watch the play happen, it looks like Devontae Wyatt almost like shoulders into him instead of trying to catch him. He just like shoulders right into him. I really just didn't understand it, and it knocks Nixon out for the rest of the game. Quay Walker was out this game with a stinger. Who knows if Nixon can go this next week or something. I will say that Kamal Haddon did a really nice job coming in for Nixon. I think that was a big key to this game, is just how many people were able to just come into this game, backups or backup to backups, and they're contributing and doing really well. So that was really nice to see. But I'd say the last low light of today's game, Sunday's game, was a lot of conservative play calling was seen. I thought Green Bay probably should have put up well above 30 points in this game. It's really just tough to see when you get down towards the red zone and you just stall out on a drive. When you actually had like a really nice drive, it kind of killed them against Carolina. Luckily, it didn't kill them against Minnesota this time. But I really thought that they could have scored more than 30. They got stuffed multiple times on third and very short.
Yeah, it was very frustrating to see, and just lots and lots of running. I know it's so interesting that that's the play call when your star running back is out. You know what I mean?
Well, so I know you didn't get to see the stats, but Green Bay is first in the league in red zone conversions. But when you split it up, when they are third and long, they are number one in the league. When they are third and short, which I think is like 3 yards or less, they're like 25th in the league.
Jeez.
So they don't do very well in those short yardage situations. It was pretty deliberate, just given Jordan Love's shoulder injury, which turns out is an AC joint separation. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for this game coming up. But we have our weekly poll question. You can find it on our Facebook group at packerscommunity.com, as well as on X at Packers Fan Pod shortly after the game is done. Our poll question this week was, all three units can improve, but what unit needs to make the biggest improvement for the Packers to bring home the Lombardi Trophy? A, is it the offense? B, is it the defense? Or C, special teams? Scott, what's your answer to this?
D, offensive play calling.
I mean, yeah.
So I mean, by default, I'm going to say offense. I think the defense did. I don't even know why defense is on here. Like, you can't ask much better than holding a team to 6 points for an entire 4 quarters. So yeah, special teams obviously has some things to clean up, but the offense just needs to be consistent. It's strange having such a stout defense that's doing its job for the most part for most of these games, and an offense that just seems to be like not quite getting in rhythm like consistently. And so yeah, what about you?
Yeah, so I think if anybody had put defense, I think maybe the week before would have been a good time to maybe say it, only because the Giants game was very frustrating because even though they only scored 20 points, it was still a backup. Sorry, a backup to a backup with Jameis Winston. And they just didn't quite look like they were kind of doing that bend, don't break type thing where teams are getting long, sustained drives and everything. Now, that didn't happen this week, and I think the defense overall has played really well. If the question was actually, who do I think is the most reason why this team is not undefeated, I would actually say special teams, because in every game that they've lost or even tied, they had missed a field goal or extra point. But I would agree that it is the offense. I think they just can't seem to get out of their own way. This week was the first time that it looked like they didn't shoot themselves in the foot in the sense of bad penalties or really bad mistakes or anything like that, like a bunch of drops. But Matt LaFleur's play calling got very conservative. Now, it sounds like that was very deliberate. So we'll have to see if that plays out against Detroit, a team that can have a lot of offensive firepower and stuff. But I would tend to agree that I think the offense has so much more potential than what it does. I think this offense could really put up 30, 31 points a game. They're not far off. They're putting up about 27 points a game.
27,
which isn't bad, but at the same time, they could be doing just so much more.
Despite how young they are, you expect them to be messing up a lot more than they are because they're young, but they're playing like a seasoned team in some regards, and then they tend to fall back on their, we're still a bit younger than some of those other offenses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which, to be honest, though, I mean, this team, most of these players have been in this offensive system for like 3 years now. So It's like, how much can you really say? I know they're still like one of the youngest teams in the NFL, but I think our community did agree with this. After combining from both Facebook and X, 80% said the offense needed to make the biggest improvement. Nobody picked the defense, and 20% picked special teams.
Mm-hmm. And we did have some comments on the poll, which people can comment over at Packers Fan Podcast Facebook group. Dan Dowler says the special teams unit has been the downfall of the team for years. Bisaccio was offered an extension last year for some reason. The defense is lights out. The offense seemed to have training wheels attached to it. It is absolutely being hindered by Matt LaFleur's frustratingly conservative play calling. Until he gives that play sheet up, the offense will be hobbled because he has objectively failed to allow the playmakers on this team to do what they need to do. Let Love cook. Like that.
Yeah, I think Dan brings up a pretty good point as far as the conservative play calling and the offense being hobbled. I think we've all seen Matt LaFleur have games where it's like, holy crap, this has been in your bag this entire time. I mean, the one that comes to mind is the Malik Willis Tennessee Titans game. Like his play calling was unbelievable. Like he came in with a backup quarterback, came up with basically a completely different offense for that game, and played really well. I was at that game, by the way. We were both at that game. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then the one against the Dallas Cowboys when Love was on a heater, like everyone always seemed to get open. There was always an open player, and it just doesn't seem like he's kind of getting players in these advantageous situations. Garrett Schritzel also says offense has the most crucial injuries that have set this team back. They have not been 100% a single game this year. Once Jay Reed returns, the wide receivers will be much better. The O-line has been the weak link and will continue to be such. The big question is, what does yesterday's run game do to defenses prep for this team? Can this team reinvent a scheme that can control games and put scores on the board that allows the D to do what it did in the second half yesterday? You might not have also noticed this, Scott. Jordan Morgan and Anthony Belton were in a rotation in the first half, and then Anthony Belton was the right guard for this entire second half. So we'll see.
What he says about the running game, is that preparing other teams to focus on run defense? And then that's when he's going to be like, all right, it's time to throw.
Well, I would hope so. I thought they should have done a lot more play action yesterday with how effective their run game was. And quite frankly, just didn't quite do it that much. Just time will tell. Time will tell with Matt LaFleur. Please join us in the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community and be part of the conversation at packerscommunity.com, especially for our live game chat section during the Thanksgiving Packers at Lions game.
All right, it's time for some listener feedback. Be a part of the Packers Fan Podcast. We want your insights after watching the game against the Lions, but also please include your Wager a Fun Score guess for the week 13 Thanksgiving Packers at Lions game. Let your voice be heard. You can do it a couple of ways. First off, record your voice, attach it to an email, and sending it to feedback@PackersFanPodcast.com, or by calling the PFP voicemail at +1 920 3-PACK-GO. For this one, please send in your feedback before 12 noon Central on Sunday. Thank you so much, and go Pack Go. We've got just one lonely little voicemail this week. It comes from Jay Walters. Let's go ahead and hear what he has to say.
Hey guys, Jay Walters from Southern California. How's it going? Well, that was a much better game to watch. A lot more fun. Running the ball, and people were complaining online about it. Hey, the run was working. Leave them alone. Ran great. 2 penalties. That's it. 2 on the offense and for illegal procedure. No other penalties. No defensive penalties. No back special team penalties. None of that. That's how you play football. Much better. Much, much better. Play calling was a lot better. It was a lot of West Coast passes, things that just worked, and he kept at it. Now, if do we do 42 runs against a team like Philadelphia where we can't move the ball around? That's stupid. But when the thing works, you stick with it. No, I don't care what anybody says. And all around great win. Everybody's getting healthier now. Christian Watson's looking really good. Hopefully he stays healthy. But all in all, enjoyable game. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed. Thank you, Jay, so much for the voicemail. Do appreciate it. I mean, he makes a good point. The running was working, but to your point, it could be a lot more if we didn't stick to it.
Yeah, I think he also made a great point as far as the 42 runs doesn't work against Philadelphia, but he stuck with it. I think that is one thing that is very frustrating, as he doesn't seem to make an adjustment to what is going on with the game. I won't say that he didn't make an adjustment in this game, because it sounded like he was like, I'm trying to protect my quarterback. I know JJ McCarthy can't beat us. We're up 17-6. We're going to just continue to run the ball. Yeah. All right. I'll give it a pass for this game. I think against Detroit, it's not gonna work like that unless the running game actually does still continue to produce. And I think one other thing that I find that LaFleur actually did a little bit better today was he used his personnel a lot better. So like the joke you made earlier as far as Luke Musgrave using his talents of falling down. Well, that was on a seam route, which I think Luke Musgrave actually does well. Right. Instead of going out in the flat. When they went out in the flat and hit a tight end, they used John Fitzpatrick, who ran a guy over to go get a first down. That's not Luke Musgrave. So it's using the personnel to,
their strengths
for what their strengths are. Exactly. So I agree with Jay with all of it. So
nice. Thanks so much, Jay. We also got an email from Dan Dyler. Here's what he says. He says, what an awesome weekend capped with another win versus a division rival, no less. Was able to link up with Scott and Stephanie for a tour of Titletown Brewery and tailgating before the game with quite the great spread. Also was able to meet up with a bunch of super fans in Lot 1-2. The game went too quick, of course. I wish I could say I was surprised in how conservatively LaFleur called the game. But in hindsight, it was absolutely the right call with a fast turnaround in 4 days versus Lions in Detroit. By running the ball so much, it ate up a lot of clock, exposing the players to far less plays to save themselves for a huge game against yet another divisional rival ahead of them in the North. I really think the Lions may be pretty worn out since they ended up with a huge fight against the Giants to win in overtime. Packers defense was only on the field 44 plays versus the Lions, who played nearly 70 snaps. I was pretty concerned with Wilson's usage running the ball 28 times. At the end of the day, it didn't really matter because the defense was playing like they had their hair on fire. In the second half, they held the Vikings to -1 yards, had 2 interceptions, and 3 sacks. The best part was the ultimate troll of Vikings fans after Evan Williams picked off McCarthy and led the D and the Packers fans in the stadium with a beautiful skull LOL chant. All right, let's talk wager of fun. Short week, but the Lions seem to be showing cracks in their armor. It's time to get the clean season sweep. We may be getting Reed back, hopefully Golden as well. Van Ness and Quay on defense hopefully return to the field. I'm going with the score of Packers 30, Lions 27. Go, 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 Pack, go. I can't do it nearly as well as Dan can,
no,
but
I don't think anybody can.
Yeah, I think he makes a really good point about the short week. I didn't even think about that. Trying to extend the clock. That's a really good strategy, actually.
I think, I think he's right. Yeah, you extend the clock. And again, you're not putting your team in a bad position or anything to turn the ball over, as long as your players can hold onto the ball. And yeah, he's exactly right as far as the Lions. They just had a dog fight to go against the Giants, going 70 plus plays defensively. Going into overtime like that can really make a difference for a team. Now, Detroit doesn't have to travel. So they get a little bit of, some extra quotation mark, but Green Bay is not traveling very far and also didn't have to get into a hard fought overtime win. So we shall see if that will make a difference. I think the biggest thing is can Green Bay, come out very quickly.
That's going to be the key, right? Which I guess maybe we'll find out shortly. But
we'll find out.
Yeah, want to strike quickly and strike fast and strike hard, right? But I think that's going to be very, very important. So anyway.
Well, your 7-3-1 Green Bay Packers are in Detroit to face the 7-4 Lions on Thursday, November 27th at 12 noon Central Time on Thanksgiving. Hopefully someone gets their turkey when they're supposed to. Packers lead this all-time series 107-78-7. Even though we started playing against the Lions, then known as the Portsmouth Spartans, later then we started our rivalry against the Bears. I believe this is the longest-running continuous rivalry. All started November 2nd, 1930, with a 47-13 Packers victory. I think one of the most memorable Packers-Lions game has to be the Motown Miracle, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers chucking it up, Rodgers to Rodgers. I mean, that's got to be it. But I think actually, let's talk about the most recent time Green Bay played Detroit and on Thanksgiving, where they went into Detroit and ended up winning, beating the division leading Detroit Lions, kind of putting a spark into Green Bay's season to get them back into the playoff.
Last season,
not this past season, but the season before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Back when
they played them this year once already.
I meant the last time they played Detroit on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Where they ended up going in and beating the brakes off of Detroit and sparked their run into the playoffs. Eventually beating the Cowboys and unfortunately losing to the 49ers.
Yes. Well, awful. But yeah, the miracle one that you talked about is I've told this story before on this podcast, but I was in the bar watching that game. I had my coat on. Oh yeah, Hail Mary, and that never works out. Bar just absolutely exploded when that catch was made. It was like, you got to be kidding me. It was pretty great.
Well, all right. And later that year, they hit for Arizona, the Jeff Janis one. I remember being in a bar for that one too.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, David, I have succumbed my keys to a Packers victory this week. I'm really excited to see what you have to say. What is it going to take for the Packers to get a victory over the Lions?
Well, thank you for giving me this honor. I hope I don't let you or our listeners down. But my keys to a Packers victory over the Lions, number one, get pressure on Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. We've heard this narrative before whenever we watch games where Jared Goff plays. He is a different quarterback when he's under pressure. And I truly believe that this is true. I've seen when he's had time, he can just dice you up. He's gone times where he has 1, 2, 3 incompletions. I mean, he'll hit for 15 straight completions, and he's just an absolute surgeon. But when you get pressure on him, that's where he makes errant throws, either incompletions or throwing it to the other team. I think the defensive line needs to be able to pin its ears back and get after him. This is, I think, the biggest key to a Packers victory, but it is predicated on my other two strategies. Strategy number 2, limit Jahmyr Gibbs. When teams don't have an opportunity to run the ball as much or as effectively, Green Bay has been able to find creative ways to pressure the quarterback. Look at this game against Minnesota. They came off, they ran pretty well in the first drive, and then after that, their run game was almost non-existent, whether that was O'Connell not throwing the ball or just not getting as effective running this time. So it starts defensively by limiting Gibbs and Montgomery to less opportunities and creating negative plays when they do get them. Gibbs is a fantastic running back. He just went for 219 yards against the Giants. He is explosive and can make you pay if you don't get him down quickly. Force them to try and beat you with Goff. And lastly, dang it, LaFleur, be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
Be aggressive, all right? We're able to beat the Vikings despite some conservative play calling, but we can't do it against Detroit. Their defense has been vulnerable. They just gave up 27 points to Jameis and the New York Giants at Detroit. The best way to help your defense is to get up on them early, win the coin toss, take the football, and go score on the opening drive. Put pressure on Detroit. Don't limit your possessions and try to run 30 to 40 times. Give your $55 million quarterback the spatula and let him cook. Your goal should be able to get as many possessions as possible and score 40 plus on them to make Lions fans want to forget another Thanksgiving 2 of the last 3 years.
Well said. I like it. Yeah, the thing I just kind of wanted to add is that you got to remember McCarthy is terrible.
Right.
There was a stat I saw. I obviously wasn't able to watch the game to see it on the screen, but I think I saw a screenshot of it as I was walking out of the stadium. There were 3 stats they were showing, one of them being quarterback rating. I don't remember what the other 2 were, but McCarthy is literally last in all of them. That's not Jared Goff. So
I heard another stat today that since 2000, McCarthy is having the 851st out of 852 like worst quarterback season so far as like EPA or something like that. The only one who has been worst is Jamarcus Russell. An all-time bust. We're approaching all-time bust. So you're right.
Wow.
JJ McCarthy is not Jared Goff. Dang it, LaFleur, be aggressive.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, David. You did a fantastic job. I do appreciate that. But let's go on to our 2025 season wager o' fun. Our predictions last week after the 23-6 win over Minnesota. I predicted Green Bay 17, Minnesota 13, which was a differential of 13. Wayne predicted a Green Bay win 20-16, which was a differential of 13. So yes, Wayne and I have another freaking tie this season. I don't know if we've ever had 2 ties in a season. That's crazy. So yeah, another tie. But let's see. The winner over on the PFP listener section is going to be Mr. Dan Dyler. Man, he loves that number 27 to 14, which was a total differential of 12. That puts him in first place with Jay Walters. So Jay Walters and Dan Dyler are tied for first place with 3 wins each. Second place, David Hawkins and Brett Connor each have 1 win. Still anybody's season. There's still plenty of football. Surprised that Dan caught up to Jay. I thought Jay was going to run away with this thing for a while there. But moving on to this week, I really came close to picking 27 just because that seems to be the magic number this year. Man, David, I'm going to, here's the thing. I'm going to be direct with you, honest, whatever. I think Minnesota's going to win this game.
I don't think they're going to win. I don't think Minnesota's going to win.
Sorry, Detroit. I think Detroit's going to win this game. Sorry, I still think about the last game. I think Detroit's going to win the game. However, I am not going to pick Detroit to win this game. I'm going to pick Green Bay, just because I knew that Wayne was going to pick the Packers to win. He does every time, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's always a gamble. If they lose, I don't lose any ground. The odds are better in my favor. So I'm just playing strategically at this point. But I'm going to say on the record, I think Detroit's going to win this game. However, my pick is going to be Green Bay 24-23. Nail biter, close one. Wayne says 23-21 in favor of Green Bay. What say you, sir?
I picked Green Bay to win 29-23. 29, they're just going to get some weird number for whatever reason. They're going to miss 2 extra points. I don't know.
You get a safety in there.
Something. I don't know. But I think Green Bay really I think they're a good enough team to win any of their games on their schedule as long as they don't get it out in their own way.
Yeah. I mean, it's been the name of the game this season, right? The tough opponents are the ones that they've been overtaking, and they're losing to the Browns and the Panthers. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. But it's just kind of crazy to me to think that they're going to score more points against the Lions than they did against the Vikings. I don't know. Let's see what the PFP listener picks were for week 13 of the PFP Wager of Fun. Jay Walter says Green Bay 27, Detroit 23. Joe Christensen says it worked this week. I'm going for Green Bay 21, Detroit 21. Tie again. Garrett Stritzel says Green Bay 24, Detroit 23. Hey, that's a familiar score. And Dan Dyler said Green Bay 30, Detroit 27. He thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game, much like you do. You know, just for Thanksgiving, I hope it is a high-scoring game, man. That just makes for great Turkey Thursday. And Brett Connor in the UK, he says it's going to be close. I can see Lions taking this one, unfortunately. Hope I'm completely wrong. He says Green Bay 17, Detroit 20. He's got a little emoji of like covering his face with his hands, but one eye peeking out. I can't tell if that's Brett putting that in there or if it's Wayne, because the numbers are in red as well.
Well, the NFC North standings as of right now are the Bears 8-3.
I know it's gross, right?
Just imagine if the Vikings didn't like come back and beat the Bears in week 1. They'd be 9-2. My gosh. Packers 7-3-1. They should be 9-1-1-1. Lions 7-4, and the Vikings are at the bottom at 4-7.
Not looking good for the Vikings. I think they're not officially mathematically out, right? But
they are
one more game and they will be.
I don't think so. I think it would be a couple more losses.
Wow, crazy. We had some other NFL happenings that caught our eye this week. First off, that Detroit New York Giants game, it wound up Detroit 34, New York 27 in overtime. The Giants were up 27-24 late in the fourth quarter and was in goal-to-go situation. Decided to go for it on fourth down, but were unable to convert, turning over on downs. Lions were able to get in field goal range, and Jake Bates, with the help of some wizardry, was able to sneak in a 59-yarder and tie it 27-27.
Did you see that kick?
No. What happened?
It literally looked like it was going wide right and somehow bent itself back in to like almost go like corner kick from like in a soccer goal. Like it really, it was crazy. I thought it was way outside. So did Dan Campbell when he watched the kick.
I gotta go look that up. So then in overtime, New York deferred. Gibbs takes it 69 yards on the first play to put them up 34-27. And then New York was unable to score, blowing their fourth quarter lead this season, and they're tied with Arizona. Man, I kind of wish I could have seen that game. That's the one bummer about going to a game is you don't get to see all the cool highlights and clips and everything. Don't get me wrong. I'd much rather be in the stands in Lambeau. It was a good time, but they don't even show like those plays on the screen as much. You'd think they would do that, especially for the important games. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they don't when it's in between like on timeouts or something, TV timeouts.
Yeah.
So another important division game. Unfortunately, Chicago beat Pittsburgh 31-28. It's really just because the Bears owner Aaron Rodgers did not suit up today. Pittsburgh went up 21-17.5, but Chicago scored 14 straight points to go up 31-21. Pittsburgh scored a TD late in the fourth quarter, right around, I think it was like the 6-minute mark or something, make it 31-28, and was able to stop Chicago on their next possession and take the lead. With an opportunity to tie or take the lead, but an illegal formation penalty stopped momentum, forcing a punt. And despite another stop by the Steelers defense, Mason Rudolph couldn't get it done to get them in field goal range. And the Bears are still, unfortunately, on the top of the NFC North. I want to vomit.
Here's what's crazy is I keep talking to Bears fans who are usually big trash talkers. And most of the Bears fans I know are like, yeah, this is great, but it's not going to last.
I look at them as like the Vikings from a couple of years ago that won a bunch of one-score games, like was able to make either comebacks or, it was always close and then they just got obliterated in the playoffs. I mean, the Bears' schedule, like these next few weeks are brutal. Like they play Philadelphia, they play Green Bay, they'll play Green Bay again. Yeah. I think they still play Detroit again as well. Like they still have like at least 4 very tough games coming up.
Mm-hmm. And then that Dallas-Philly game, Philly went up 21-0 in the second quarter. Looked like they were about to run away with it, but Dallas was able to score at the end of the half to go down 21-7. Dallas scored a TD at the end of the third quarter. Jake Elliott missed a 56-yarder, and then Dallas tied it up with a Dak Prescott scramble. Dallas defense got a big fumble off of Saquon, but the offense couldn't move the ball and had to punt. But Dallas forced another fumble on the punt return and had the ball at Philly's 8. After a big drop by CeeDee Lamb, that would have been a touchdown. Dallas couldn't convert on 4th down and turned it over on downs. This sounded like it was a crazy game to see. Dallas defense came up big again and forced a punt by Philly, and Dallas had the ball with 1:47 left, 2 timeouts. After a big pass to George Pickens to put Dallas just outside Philly's 20, Brandon Aubrey was able to hit the game winner 24-21. And I got to tell you, David, Philly going down like that always feels great because I feel like they're always our contender for that number 1 seed spot when it comes to playoff season. Now I know we get the Bears to contend with, but we played them twice. So, we're gonna have a chance.
Yeah, it was really good to see Philadelphia go down. I hate Dallas, but you know what? I was actually rooting for them in this game. But the Rams are unfortunately the team in the NFC to beat right now. They just absolutely demolished the Tampa Bay Bucks. It was 21-0, I think, either in the first quarter or just right into the second quarter. They never looked back. It was 34-7 was the final score. That team looks dangerous. Looks like we don't have anybody on bye week this coming week. So.
Finally, holy cow. My fantasy football says thank you, because it's just been nuts trying to flip-flop everything around. I actually had to leave a spot blank on one of my fantasy teams this week for the Unofficial Packers Fan Podcast because I didn't have anybody and I don't want to drop anybody. I'm up by like 30 points or something, so I'm just praying that things go in my favor tonight. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it pans out for me. But I'm looking forward to being able to get all my players out there, and hopefully Taylor continues to be awesome for me over in Indianapolis because, man, 46 points he had one game for me. It's been great. All right, moving on. I want to tell you guys one more time about my other podcast, The Gaming Outsider. We got a new episode out this week, and we're talking about the best way to find deals on video games, and not just during the holiday season, all year round. I'm also checking out a game called Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault. I absolutely adored the original Moonlighter. You played Moonlighter, didn't you?
I did not. I have it.
You did buy it.
I need to play it.
So yeah, you can hear my show at the same places you listen to this one. And you can find our website at thegamingoutsider.com. David, you got anything you want to shout out here in the podcast?
You can read my reviews on thegamingoutsider.com as well. It's been a bit since I've written one, but I have a few on there. But if you don't mind, I'd like to at least do a recommendation
Sure.
like that you do on the Gaming Outsider. I actually have 2. I'll be quick. The first one is on HBO Max. It Welcome to Derry.
Oh my God! I just watched the new episode today.
I haven't seen it, but I think it's really great what they're doing through the first 4 episodes. You haven't truly seen Pennywise, which I think is fantastic. I think that they're really kind of milking it, and it's just intriguing on what's going on in Derry. Why is this happening and such like that? I think the show is really good. I wouldn't say it's very scary. It's very creepy. Lots of gore and stuff like that, but I don't think it's actually has been scary so far. Would you agree with that? Like, it hasn't been too much as far as jump scares go.
No, I feel like the 2 movies were better at the creep factor of the jump scares and like unsettling things. There are some things in here that have been hard to watch, especially in that 4th episode. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was like, wow, they're really going there, and it was something else. But I'm with you, dude. I absolutely love what they are doing with this show. They're taking this in a direction that I just never even considered. And they're making this whole Derry universe vastly more interesting than it was even in the original book. So I am really enjoying it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the second thing that I just wanted to recommend is if you have Netflix and have been wanting to watch a sitcom, Leanne on there has 16 episodes from the first season. There's going to be a second season coming at some point. I thought it was really funny. It was a breath of fresh air, in my opinion, as far as sitcoms go, because I haven't been able to watch any sort of like TV sitcoms that have interested me. So give Leanne a shot if you're itching for a sitcom.
Nice. I've not heard of that one. I'll have to check that out after Stranger Things is over. Of course, I got a lot of Stranger Things. Wednesday, dude. I'm so excited. I just got done my rewatch of the first 4 seasons, and I am amped to see how this whole thing wraps up, man. It's gonna be awesome. We are grateful for your support of the PFP. It's inspiring to us. Details on how to join can be found at PackersFanPodcast.com/give back. Jay Walters, thank you, and Go Pack Go for your Bart Star level support. We do appreciate it. Dan Dyler, Go Pack Go, and thank you for your thank you, Captain, for your love level patronage. We do appreciate it.
Sending out thanks and Go Pack Goes to these fine Brett Favre level patrons, Miguel Ramirez, Scott Bors, and Megan. We also have Go Pack Goes and thank yous to our Lambeau level patrons, Hank Davis from the Free Podcast Tools YouTube channel, Joe Christensen, and Brett Connor. If interested in joining in, check out the details at PackersFanPodcast.com/givepack. The Unofficial Packers Fan Podcast is not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. Please tell even more of your friends about the Packers Fan Podcast.
Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Packers Fan Pod. Yeah, I said Twitter. Come at me, bro.
It ain't X.
You can follow me personally at GoCastScott or my podcast at The GoCast. You can also follow Wayne at Wayne Henderson. And here is PFP community members Andre in LA, Megan, Dan Dyler, and Joe Christensen helping our Packers get ready to feast in Detroit.
Go Pack, go!